is last part, 18th part of body fluids and the circulation. In this part, we are going to learn remaining part. Okay, we learned earlier arteries, veins, and differences. Here we are going to learn capillaries and disorders of the circulatory system. First one, let us start with vasa vasorum. What is vasa vasorum? Okay, the smallest vessels present in the walls of the large blood vessels like aortic arch are called vasa vasorum. I will show you here. Okay, this is the blood vessel. In the wall of this blood vessel, if you observe here, there are many layers are there. In these layers, okay, here there are many layers here. In these layers, okay, these layers also require blood. Okay, here muscle is present. Muscle also requires blood. This is the blood vessel. Blood vessel also requires blood. And to supply blood to the wall of the blood vessel, okay, there are other small blood vessels are present. This is called vasa vasorum. Vasa vasorum, otherwise called vessel of the vessels. Okay, blood vessels also have vessels. Blood vessels also have vessels. Blood vessel is there, and this blood vessel also have another blood vessel to supply nutrients to its wall, and this is called vasa vasorum or vessels of the vessels. Vessels of the vessels. Okay, you can observe here. This is the artery in the what? This is the wall, and here there are blood vessels in its wall, and this is called vasa vasorum. Next, let us talk about the other type of smallest blood vessels in our body. What are they? Capillary. Okay, these are the smallest blood vessels of the body, smallest blood vessels of the body, which connect arteries and venules. They connect arteries and venules. You can observe here, this is the artery, this is a vein. Okay, the artery and vein are covered. Here there is arteriole, here is a venule, and these are connected by, here there are capillaries, pulmonary capillaries, here there are capillaries, okay, systemic capillaries, here there are capillaries, renal, between renal artery and renal vein. Here there are, this is called, earlier I told you, portal vein. Portal vein, what do you mean by portal vein? A vein that begins with capillaries, a vein that begins with capillaries, and here it is beginning with capillaries and ending with capillaries, is called as a portal vein. Okay, as it is going to the liver, here in this part there is a liver, this is called hepatic portal vein. These all are capillaries. Okay, these are the smallest, first point, capillaries are the smallest vessels of the body. Second one, which connect arterioles and venules, which connect arteriole. Here there is arteriole, here there is a venule, they connect these two. That is the second point. Third point, unlike the vessels of the atrial venous system, the walls of the capillaries are composed of just one cell thick layer called simple squamous epithelium. This is called endothelium. It is endodermal in origin. The origin of this simple squamous epithelium, or which is present here, or endothelium, its origin is endodermal. Its origin is endodermal. It forms from the innermost germ layer. Ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm. There are three germ layers are there. It is formed from the endoderm. The absence of smooth muscles you can observe here in this figure here. Structure of the capillary wall is formed by a single layer of endothelial cells, and there is a glycoprotein layer called basal lamina, and a basal on which it rests, and this is the lumen where blood flows. And outside the basal lamina, contractile cells wrapped around the capillary. These are called contractile cells. These are called pericytes. And it has only tunica intima. Earlier we learned tunica externa, tunica externa, tunica media, tunica interna. I will show you here. Okay, I will show you here. Okay, tunica media, tunica externa, tunica interna. Okay, these all are present in the wall of the artery and vein, but in the wall of the capillary, but in the wall of the capillary, only what is present, only tunica intima is present, and lax tunica media is not present, and therefore there are no smooth muscles. If there are smooth muscles are present here, it cannot, nutrients, this all cannot diffuse through this one. Okay, that's why the wall of the capillary is very thin to allow the movement of those are substances in and out of the wall. Absence of smooth muscles and connective tissue layers permits more rapid exchange of materials between the wall and tissue, between the blood and tissue. Okay, here inside this one, what is present? Blood is present, and here there is a tissue is present. Okay, here the movement of substances occurs across this wall. Okay, some substances go outside, some substances come inside. If the wall is very thick, they cannot go outside, they cannot come inside. Okay, that's why the wall of the capillary is very thin. Okay, once again I repeat, capillaries are the smallest blood vessels of the body. The second one, which connect arterioles and venules. And unlike vessels of the arterial and venous system, the walls of the capillaries are composed of just unlike, not like, unlike. There in the walls of the arterial system and venous system, known arteries, veins, flow, the wall composed tunica externa, tunica media, tunica interna. But unlike that one here, just composed of just one cell thick layer, epithelium or endothelium. What is the significance of absence of smooth muscle? Smooth muscles are absent here, connective tissue is absent here. That's why it permits more rapid exchange of materials between blood and tissue. Next one is the disorders of circulatory system. First one, high pressure. Hypertension is common medical condition in which blood pressure in arteries is elevated. Blood pressure in arteries blood pressure increases. Okay, generally BP is measured in our arteries, not in the veins. That is called arterial pressure. BP is also called as arterial pressure. Okay, hypertension is a chronic medical condition in which blood pressure is in the arteries is elevated, that may increase. The normal blood pressure, that is 120 by, at rest is 120 mmHg. And next one, systolic pressure. Systolic BP is 120 by 80 mm of Hg. Normal BP is 120. This is the numerator. This is the numerator. This is the denominator. The numerator indicates the systolic pressure. The denominator indicates the diastolic pressure. Okay, if you subtract 80 from 120, okay, 80 from 120, you get 40. That is called pulse pressure. Pulse pressure is equal to 40 mm Hg. Okay, 120 means systolic pressure. Why it is called systolic pressure? Because during ventricular systole, the pressure in our arteries is 120. During ventricular diastole, it is called during ventricular diastole, the pressure in the arteries is 80. Okay, that's why it is called systolic and diastolic pressure, the numerator and systolic on average. And high blood pressure leads to heart disease and also affects the other vital organs. Important organs like brain and kidneys are also affected because of high BP. It is a force exerted by the blood against the walls of the vessel. What is blood pressure? Okay, this is a force. For example, this is a one pipe blood vessel. Okay, when blood is flowing here, okay, this blood exerts some pressure on the walls of the blood vessel. For example, if you take one water pipe, when motor is running on and this pipe is connected to the motor, when water is flowing in this pipe, okay, this water exerts some pressure on the wall. That is water pressure. Here, blood. This is the blood. Okay, this is called blood pressure. The pressure exerted by the blood on its walls. That is the blood pressure. It is a force exerted by the blood against the walls of the vessels. The force exerted by the blood against the walls of the vessels. It is affected by age, sex, and state of health. Okay, your BP may change according to your age, sex, and state of health. Blood pressure is measured in the brachial artery. BP is measured in Okay, BP is measured in one artery here. Okay, this artery is called as a brachial artery, whereas pulse is measured in radial artery. Your pulse is measured. Pulse is measured in the which artery? Radial artery. Pulse is measured in radial artery. Here, right, blood pressure is measured in the brachial artery of the arm by using a sphygmomanometer. Sphygmomanometer is a device which is used to measure blood pressure. Okay, pressure 120 by 80 mmHg is considered normal blood pressure in human beings. The upper reading pertains to systolic pressure. This one, the upper reading pertains to related to the the upper reading related to the systolic pressure. I already told you that one, and lower one is the diastolic pressure. Okay, blood pressure above 140 by 90 is considered as hypertension. It is worth knowing that it is universally believed that excessive intake of salt causes hypertension in addition to genetic reasons. Okay, that's about BP. The next one is coronary artery disease, CAD. Coronary artery disease it is also a very important one. Coronary artery disease, and there are some other congenital heart disease, CHD, coronary congenital heart disease. Some heart disease come from the parents by birth. CAD, coronary artery disease. You know what I mean by coronary artery? The artery that supply blood to the wall of the heart. This is the wall of the heart. Okay, here coronary artery is supplying blood to the walls of the heart. That is called coronary artery. Okay, this artery gets disease, coronary artery disease. Okay, CAD often referred, it is also called as atherosclerotic heart disease. Atherosclerosis or atherosclerotic heart disease. It is the result of accumulation of calcium, fat, cholesterol, fibrous tissue, C square, F square. One, what are the two C's? Calcium, cholesterol. What are the two F? Fat and fibrous tissue along the wall of the coronary arteries. You can see here, this is a normal artery wall. Here, plaque is formed here along the wall. There is some plaque. These are deposited on the walls: calcium, fat, cholesterol, fibrous tissue along the wall of the coronary artery, which makes their lumen narrow. Here lumen is normal. This is the lumen. This is normal, but here the lumen has reduced here. Okay, this narrow blood vessel reduces the blood flow to the heart, causes the ischemia. That means reduced blood supply to the muscle tissue, causing shortage of oxygen. Okay, next one, because of that, because of here, some cells may die here. When there is narrowed coronary artery, here the cells do not get blood, oxygenated blood, they will die. And myocardial cells may die due to myocardial cells means present in cardiac muscle oxygen, and this is called as a myocardial infarction. Here this is the ischemia leads to myocardial ischemia. It is leading to myocardial infarction. Ischemia means reduced blood supply. The infarction means that means here there is a death of myocardial cell. It leads to heart muscle damage. It leads to heart muscle gets damaged here. And CAD is associated with the smoking, diabetes, hypertension. Okay, we have discussed before this about hypertension, high BP, diabetes, sugar, and smoking are associated with the coronary artery disease, otherwise called atherosclerotic heart disease. The next one is angina pectoris. Angina pectoris. Angina means pectoris means chest. It is marked by chest pain caused by narrowing of blood vessels to the heart. Okay, here you can observe here heart is not receiving oxygen enough oxygen, okay, due to narrowed coronary artery. Angina, a type of chest pain caused, okay, chest pain, pressure or discomfort. It is marked by chest pain caused by narrowing of blood vessels to the heart. Angina pectoris is a warning signal of deprivation of blood supply to the heart. That means our heart is not receiving. Here there is a reduced blood supply to the heart muscle. However, there is no necrosis. Here no death. Necrosis means no death of cardiac muscle, as I mentioned here. Okay, there is die, but here there is no death of okay, muscle tissue. It occurs in men and women of any age, but more common among the middle aged and elderly people. The major risk factors for angina: smoking, as mentioned earlier, diabetes and high cholesterol, high BP, hypertension, okay, are the major risk factors for angina pectoris. Okay, next one, heart failure. The last one, it is a condition in which heart is unable to provide sufficient pumping action to distribute blood flow to meet the needs of the body. Okay, generally our heart pumps 5040 ml per minute. That means around 5 liters of blood, around 5 liters. But in this condition, heart fails to produce that amount of blood. It is a condition in which heart is unable to provide sufficient pumping action to distribute blood flow to meet the needs of the body. That means our heart is here only it is pumping 4 liters. That means it is not heart is unable to provide sufficient pumping action to distribute blood flow to meet the needs. Okay, when our body tissues get this amount of blood, okay, they get oxygen, no sufficient. But here their metabolic needs are not filled if the heart pumps only 4 liters around that. Okay, common causes of for heart failure include myocardial infarction, heart attack, localized death of heart tissue necrosis, and next one, other forms of the ischemic heart disease, hypertension. These are the common causes for heart failure. Myocardial infarction, I told you in the first one. Okay, heart attack, localized death of infarction, there will be death of tissue necrosis. You come across this term in botany also, and other parts of the ischemic heart disease, other forms of, and hypertension as another reason. It is also called congestive heart failure. It's the important term. It is also called congestive heart failure because congestion of lungs, pulmonary edema, okay, more blood is accumulated at lungs. Okay, one of the main symptoms of this is heart failure is not same as the cardiac arrest and the cardiac heart attack. Okay, let us see what is that here. Okay, you can see here heart cannot fill stiff and thick chamber, and heart cannot pump the blood enough blood. Okay, next one is cardiac arrest and heart attack difference. People often use these terms interchangeably, అంటే దీన్ని యూజ్ చేస్తుంటారు, but they are not the same. What is cardiac arrest? What is heart attack? Cardiac arrest occurs when functions and stops beating unexpectedly. Cardiac arrest is an electrical problem. Okay, here cardiac arrest is triggered by an electrical malfunction. We have nodal tissue. When there is a problem in nodal tissue, okay, that leads to cardiac arrest. Heart attack, on the other hand, occurs when blood flow to the heart is blocked. Okay, the blocked artery prevents. Okay, here this is the circulation problem, but the electrical problem, circulation problem. Okay, why here circulation problem? Because here some blockage occurred. Okay, the blocked artery prevents oxygen-rich blood from reaching a section of the heart, a part of the heart. If the blocked artery is not reopened quickly, the part of the heart normally nourished by the artery, okay, belongs to, okay, begins to die. Okay, that particular part of the heart which does not get that oxygenated blood, okay, will die. Okay, that is here it is a circulation problem, it is a electrical problem, and heart failure and cardiac arrest and heart attack all are different terms.